In Reflection in a Dead Diamond, a 70-year-old retired ex-spy is living in a luxurious hotel on the French Riviera. He is obsessed with his very attractive young neighbour who's living in the hotel room next to his, and one day she goes missing and doesn't come back to the hotel room, and he's obsessed with her, so he goes to investigate what happened to her. While investigating her disappearance, his past life as a spy comes to enter his mind wherever he goes, and he constantly gets flashbacks back to his spy years. Reflection in a Dead Diamond is directed by Hélène, Cattet and Bruno Forzani, and they have previously directed films such as Mort, The Strange Colour of Your Body's Tears, and Let the Corpses Tan. Okay, this directing duo have a bit of a cult following among the festival circuit, and this is the first time I've seen one of their films, and I think this film is probably not the best introduction to their work. I think you would get much more out of this film if you've seen their previous films, and if you've seen a lot of the James Bond 60s, 70s and the Eurocentric spy movies that came after James Bond. If you've seen those type of films, then you will get much more out of this film, because this film is very much spoofing or ripping off those type of films. So for me, this film didn't really do much for me, because I'm not familiar with the director's previous work, and I've seen quite a few James Bond films from that era, but I'm not exactly an expert on the genre, and I have not really seen a lot of Eurocentric spy thrillers from that era either, so I don't really get a lot of the references in this film. And the story is kind of taking a backstage in this film. The story of this old retired ex-spy investigating the disappearance of his neighbour is really not the main story in this film. The main focus in this film is his flashbacks to his previous spy life. So we see him as a younger man doing all his spy missions, protecting bad guys or protecting good guys, and fighting femme fatales, and his memories seem to mix amongst each other, so he's remembering different people and different enemies, and there's basically no story. It's just a bunch of random scenes gelling into each other, and his memories are all gelling into each other. But I have to admit, technically this film is very, very good. It has kind of like a tinged cinematography. If you kind of remember from a couple of years ago, the Holdovers, the Alexander Payne movie, where he purposely tinged his film with the color and the cinematography to make it look like it was set in the 70s, and this film, Dead Diamond, they've done the same thing. It's very tinged in a very retro look, and like the costumes and the settings and the look of the film really makes it look like it's a film from that era. And I can't, even though I didn't really care for this film, I can't really totally dismiss it, because technically the directors do try a lot of filmmaking techniques, like the fight sequences. They're very close up and very violent and gory and very unique, and they try different techniques to make it interesting. And even when we're introduced to different characters, the film flashes different type of filmmaking techniques. So you have flashes of close-ups and the sound design combined to make some really interesting and very in-your-face imagery. I give Reflection in a Dead Diamond 2 stars out of 5. This film isn't really for me, but I think these directors, if they had a cohesive story, because on a technical front they're very, very sound, they're visually and sound-wise, they really know how to show some really unique and confronting images. But for me, there's just no story to latch onto here, there's no characters to latch onto here, and I was getting a little bit bored throughout the film because there's nothing to latch onto. So, but if you're a fan of the director's previous work and you're a very expert on James Bond and 60s, 70s Eurocentric spy thrillers, and I think you get a kick out of this film. But for me, it didn't really do much for me. So, what did you think of Reflection in a Dead Diamond? Thanks for watching. What did you think of the film? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.